Hey everybody, this is Dave Cohen on Guitar Tales with another fireside chat. This is a first ever for us, and we're really excited about it. We have Helena, who is a bass player. You are our first bass player. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And you are pulling yourself away from your kids for the first night of Hanukkah. We're taping on December 10th right now. So happy
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It feels good. Mommy could use a little alone time away right now, so this is good timing.
Now,
Yeah,
and I feel badly because I didn't give you time to make yourself a tequila your drink of choice.
that's okay. Maybe I'll have a drink after this. I
Yeah,
think I
see,
will.
I'm apropos for the times,
Nice.
but
Corona.
I usually drink wine on the show, but I didn't feel like opening a bottle. Um, so I can't wait to get into the show with you, because we've been taping for about a year and a half now. We probably have about 25 episodes. We've had people who know how to play bass, but we've never had a real bass player on the show. So we're honored and thankful and grateful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
And your full name is Helena Holmes.
Yep.
People can find you by Googling. I found this out. You have to add the word bass to your name because there's a few other people with your name floating around out there, I saw.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you search for Helena Holmes Bass, I have a YouTube channel,
I saw that.
which I've been trying to grow. Um, and all of my videos I made public. So trying to get my name out there a little bit, and I've had some success more on Facebook. YouTube's a little bit. There's a lot of people that have YouTube channels. So
Yeah. Facebook, we find on our show, we might hit, 15,000 people on a show, and it's also on YouTube and it doesn't touch nearly that many people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There are ways to get it out there. I've figured out there are campaigns you can do. You can spend a little money.
right.
Um, but yeah, social media and Facebook is a good way to get out
Right.
there.
Because I don't think people surf YouTube the way they surf Facebook. It's not, I mean, I do it a little bit, but I think Facebook sort of tells me what it has figured out I want to see and hear, you know,
Yeah,
and not as
yeah.
much. YouTube has figured out that I like Ancient Aliens, though.
Yeah, YouTube has their own algorithm, but I think uh, I didn't know this. I've delved into it a little bit. That when you pay, then you can get your videos, your name up in as suggested videos to
Oh,
watch.
really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
this is a whole. It took me a while to figure it out. I'm letting the cat out of the bag because it's a lot of people don't know about it. But yeah, there are campaigns that you can run um, to get your name out there, to get your videos out there.
Right.
Uh, but Facebook's done me better than you. I think the nice thing about Facebook, people are just scrolling and then your video just starts playing.
Yeah, it's pretty
You
cool.
know, yeah.
I have a really good friend whose son has something I don't have, which is a really thick head of hair. So at age 15 or 16, his son made a few videos where he just flips his hair back and sort of smiles into the camera. 5 million hits.
Oh my, yeah. It's
Yeah.
I Yeah, it's crazy. It's beyond me. Some of the ones that have. I mean, I've seen musicians, I've seen bass players that have a ton that are good, but I think how did they get 80
Yeah.
thousand, 100,000? They might. I'm sure your friend's son wasn't paying for it, but
Yeah, he
I
just flipped
assume
his
some
hair the right
musicians.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So let's talk a little about you. See, you are a 20-year bass player or 20 years as a professional.
I'm 44. I've been playing since I was 16, so 26 years. Um, but the first couple of years, professional, that's a, I don't know if I use that term. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I'd say the past 15, 20 years, supplementing my income from playing. Prior to that, I did originals and swore I would never do covers.
All right.
Um,
Yeah.
and anyone that played with me in original bands back then, we were all sort of, yeah, no, we would never play covers. Um, and then
Well,
I
good
did my
music though.
first,
You know,
it's what?
it's all good music.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know why we had this. I think, we thought we had stars in our eyes when we were younger, and, cover bands, that was like for like older people. And like, you're not going to make it doing covers. And then I did my first cover gig on New Year's Eve, however many years ago, 20 years ago, 18 years ago. And I got paid at the end of the night, and people stuck around and they danced, and then I got free drinks. It was like I had never experienced that in my life. So that converted me. That converted me
That's a
into
good thing.
yeah,
And one of the themes that I've gotten from our people on the show, whether they do originals or covers, and I think we've probably skewed a little in the cover direction on our show. It's just bringing joy to the people
yes.
who've gone out.
Totally. You know what? Music, I love listening to music. I love playing, but I love listening to music. And I think it definitely strikes this emotional chord. And I love to see people getting into it. And it doesn't matter whether it's originals or covers. It just so happens that people, people like to hear what they know.
Yeah.
Um, I played a lot of original shows. I played CBGBs with a lot of different bands over the years, and the original scene is not can be a little rough. You got bands playing, and then the people that see the bands are there, and then as soon as the band's off the stage, everyone that came to see the band leaves.
Right. Right.
It's unforgiving. It's you pour your heart and soul into it, and you don't always get it back from the audience. But you're right, it doesn't matter. Covers or originals, music is music. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I had just like a good but a hard work day today, and just made myself some dinner, threw the headphones in, and have my own little personally curated song list. And it's like it hits some receptors and neurons in one's head, and it just my mood immediately. Yeah, today was the Black Crows. The Black Crows put me in a fabulous mood. That's it. Nothing else
You,
objective.
yeah, it's me too. I can relate that, I'm driving to work in the morning, and it just does something to me. It does affect my mood. And I don't know if it does that as much to I see my kids don't have that same, which is interesting. They like music, but I think some people have a visceral, I have that's the word I
Yeah.
was looking for. I have a visceral reaction to
Yeah.
music. I've gotten goosebumps.
Oh yeah,
Levels,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I went to a conference probably 25 years ago with a lawyer I didn't know too well, and just different law firms, what have you. And we get into a rental car, and I find some local rock station, and I'm just noticing we had a long drive to get from one place to another. And the guy in the car with me, or I said to the guy in the car with me, they can't play a bad song. And I'm all excited. Every song they're playing is better than the last. And he actually said, "Yeah, I don't like music."
Oh,
and I thought, okay. And I guess those people exist too. There could, in the minds of at least where I would have been, would be people either love music or like music, or maybe even are either way on music, but people don't like music. But it was
I met someone once in a bar, I think at a gig, and getting a drink and just started chatting. And I don't know why he was there. He wasn't there to listen to music. And somehow, and he also said something similar. He said, "Yeah, I don't really," or he said, "I don't listen to music anymore because I'm into politics." And I was like,
wow.
who I was foreign to me. I'm like, who doesn't listen to music? Like I couldn't relate.
No.
I couldn't. So with that said, and I see, as I said, I see in my children that I don't know that it strikes everyone in the same way.
No.
I guess in an idealist way, I would think it does, but I don't know that it does. But it definitely does with many people, and it does with me. And it's part of my life. Part of my existence, part of my being.
Right. Right. Your fiber. Your
Yes,
DNA.
yes.
So let me ask you this. So when you picked up your first bass, you could have picked up. Well, I don't know if you could pick up a piano, but you could have played piano. You could have played piano, guitar. I mean, a million other things. What drew you to bass, or did you start somewhere else before bass?
Yeah, I started on piano. My parents made me, which was a trend, maybe less so now, made me play piano. They weren't ruthless about it. It was, hey, you got to take lessons. I'm really glad they did, because I think it was a foundation, and I can still read a little bit. Um, I think I tried guitar probably for like a week or two. But when I was 13, I remember this moment. My, boyfriend at the time at 13 was into classic rock, and I didn't know about classic rock. I was into 80s and whatever it was on PLJ at the time,
Right. Remember them?
Z100.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he played Led Zeppelin, and I remember grew up in Kinnelon, walking to Sabies Beach. Anyone that's watching this would know the beach, and we probably had a boom box, and he played Ramble On,
Right.
and I remember going, "What's that?"
I could
Making
hear
that
that bass line in my head right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's bass," and I'm like, "Oh," and I didn't pick up bass at 13, but that stuck in my head.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Zeppelin, and then hearing more Led Zeppelin, and that made an impression. Yeah.
Well, well, we're glad you did.
Thank
So you caught my attention and Scott's with some of your videos playing Rush, and not just playing Rush, playing it really goddamn well. I
thank
mean,
you.
yeah, that I forgot which. Now I'm forgetting which songs you did.
I just did Fly By Night by
Yeah,
Rush. I
yeah.
just did that. Recorded it over the weekend. I recorded it on Saturday and posted it on Sunday.
That's the one we saw. There was another Rush song I saw you did. I
I
thought
didn't do
no.
any other. I did Rio by Duran Duran
That's
before
yeah, that's the
that.
other one I saw. That you did a really nice job at. But my favorite, which is on my playlist, you did is it Rubber Band Man?
Rubber Band Man. Yep.
That is
Yep.
such a positive, great, fun, silly song. I don't know what it means to be a rubber band man, but
It
I
was
listened to
yeah.
that
There's a story I read up on it. It was about this. One of the guys that wrote it. His son was very overweight.
Okay.
There's actually a nice story behind it. I think he
Oh,
wrote it for
really?
his son, believe it or not. Yeah, yeah.
It's a long song too.
Yeah. I don't
Like a
remember
five,
is
6 minute or maybe.
I don't.
When I ran, it felt like it lasted forever.
Okay. Yeah, the videos, people requested Rush forever. Um, I hope I'm not gonna, people are gonna be screaming when I say this. I don't love Rush, but I like
Those
the
are no, okay.
song. I
Okay.
like Fly By Night.
Yeah.
Rubber Band Man, I don't even remember the name of the band that
The
did that.
Ohio Players.
Or the Ohio Players, was it? Oh,
I
no, I don't
think. I
think they
think.
wrote it. Whoever. But there's random songs that I don't necessarily love the whole catalog, but I
Right.
love
Right.
the song. I will never cover most of the songs I do videos of,
Right.
so it's really just sort of like a passion to do these videos and to get into these songs. Yeah.
And so as we were watching it, and I have to ask Scott and I both talked about this. Your bass is pretty much at your ankles. Like you play.
Uh,
I don't know how you do it. It's really cool. But do you do that for effect, or is that where you're most comfortable?
That's where I'm most comfortable. Yeah, it's gotten a little silly. Some of my videos, and then my friends are sort of sticking up for me, or people are like, "Why don't you try raising the strap?" And sort of implying I'm not doing it right. No, I'm pretty much self-taught. I took 2 bass lessons in my life, and I don't want to mention the bass teacher, amazing bass player, not a good teacher. You can be great at something and not be a good teacher.
Right.
I just fell into it. It bothers my wrist, my right wrist, to play it higher.
Okay.
It just bothers my wrist. It just feels really comfortable. I don't, knock on wood, I don't have any pain. I don't have any wrist issues or shoulder or back
Yeah.
um, and I'm doing all right. So I feel like, well, I don't know that I don't really want to get into bothering my wrist and trying to change. So no, the long answer, short end, I don't do it for effect.
It's really cool. And now I didn't watch enough to know of the different styles that you might emulate. But do you do any slap? Are you into that at all?
I'm not very good at it. I can fake it a little bit, and if you
Like
watch me,
plucking?
oh, that's cool. But yeah, I never put in the time. I never had really a reason to, or a motivation.
Right.
I can fake it a little bit. I don't know. I've gotten to this point in my life, Dave, where people are like, try raising the straps, try playing with the pick, and it's like, well, I've got kids. I have a job. To get really good at anything, I don't care.
10,000
Tennis,
hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a time, and I'm not motivated enough to go, okay, now I'm going to get good at slapping. Um,
Well, plus
so
that's a very specific thing. Like if your main the centerpiece of what you enjoy, say, is rock, right? I mean, unless you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers or funk, straight out funk, where's the need? I mean, I'm sure you can infuse your music a little, and I love listening to it, but most rock music that we all enjoy does not have slap in it.
right. Yeah, and even there are songs that have slap in it that you're not even necessarily aware. I might
Right.
hear it, always popping a little bit. But I think of Peg by Steely Dan. I love Steely Dan, and I've
Yeah.
had the making of Asia. And Chuck Rainey talks about that slapping during the recording of that album, slapping was very in.
Right.
And Donald and Walter did not want slapping on their album. They didn't want just like the in thing. They wanted
Right.
to do
Right.
it better. So I don't know if you've seen it, but so he talks about being in the studio and he's playing bass and he just turns his chair and the partition was enough where they couldn't see his hands. And the chorus of Peg, he slaps it. And they never knew. They
Oh,
never
that's
knew.
hysterical.
And they loved it. And they're like, this is great. But it's subtle, there
Yeah.
are, so stuff like that. I think there is slapping where you might not necessarily even hear it, but it adds a little effect.
Yeah, like in a lot of like music that's very far in the direction of pop, if you listen super carefully, there's just like a little bit that sort of flavors it, but is not standing out, and
Right,
you might not even notice if it weren't slap.
right,
Like there
right.
was some band I remember. I don't know why I remember this. The Tommy Scott band. I think they were a famous backup band, and they had some bass player who was just popping the hell out of it. It was kind of fun to watch. But if you listen to the overall music without staring at the bass player, you don't know that that's happening.
Right, right, right.
Now, who are your, if any, bass heroes or heroine?
Oh, I have, I mean, I do, it's cliche. He does slap a lot, but I love Flea.
Yeah,
I don't even care about his slapping so much. I love his bass lines. I love his bass lines. He's got the funk and
yeah,
he's got it in his blood. And, my favorite bass player, I love the guy from Jamiroquai. I love John Paul Jones. Uh, the Fix had a few different bass players.
yeah. I never thought of them.
Yeah,
They were funky.
yeah, they had some great. There's a song on my YouTube channel, or We Ourselves, that I covered.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I love Stanley Clarke. There are
Yeah.
some virtuosos that I love, but I think I probably lean more towards just good bass lines. Just tasteful.
Right.
Just
The glue.
tasteful. Yeah, yeah. That you're not even necessarily. Some of the virtuosos. I can listen to it and I'm wowed, but it's more like solo bass.
Yeah.
Where I prefer, Flea, it's just perfect for the music. It's just, it just fits it like a glove,
And if he didn't look the way he does and have that particular brand of stage presence, he would probably just be considered a really good bass player because he's not. I mean, he drives the music, but he's not narcissistic in his playing.
right. No, and he's not even, he's really not a virtuoso at all. I mean, there are kids on YouTube that I've seen that are 9 and 10, prepubescent kids
Right, right,
who have better, and I say this, I'm no joke, that have better chops than Flea. That
right,
you're just
right.
watching them and you're like, oh my God. So he's not a virtuoso, but it's the guy from Stone Temple Pilots, DeLeo, I forget his first name. Where they've got something where they just
Hmm.
play for the music and have that funk and that groove and that pocket, and it's not about how many notes. So those are the guys that I tend to gravitate towards that give me goosebumps.
Yeah. we've already talked before the show that because of the technology of Zoom, we're not going to have you play, but I'd love to see your bass, and we'll talk a little bit about
Sure,
that.
sure. So, right next to me. So, this is
Oh, that's
a sukop.
gorgeous. What is
This is
it?
it's called a sukop. The guy's name, let me see if I step back, if you can get a better.
Holy crap, that's beautiful.
Yeah, this is Steve Sukop is the guy. It's a neck through.
Wow.
It's quilt maple on the top, a wenge or wenji, I don't know how they pronounce it. Well, it's beautiful, but it also it plays beautifully, and it's light and it's weighted really well. Steve lives in New Mexico now. I think Steve Sukop. I bought this in '97, number 123. He's gotten a little bit more well known since then. Um,
Let's
I
see the
love
back again. I love the
it.
wood on the neck, how it goes all the way through. That is
Yeah,
gorgeous. Look at
yeah.
that.
Oof.
And that's a long neck. Yeah, you just broke your guitar in the
Yeah,
show.
I just broke my guitar and broke the
Yeah.
ceiling.
And then
No,
that's,
it's standard. It's not extra long.
oh,
Nope,
it's
it's a
not?
standard. No, it's tapered. It's more of a tapered neck, so it might, and also on camera it might give that.
Oh,
Uh,
right. Yeah.
no. So this is my baby. I have other basses. I have a five string Music Man that I used to play exclusively, and that's upstairs. That's about four times as heavy as a Sukop,
Okay.
and I don't really need a five string. I used it exclusively for a while, and then I got pregnant, and I just couldn't have that weight. Uh,
Right. Yeah.
but I don't really need a five string. I don't think for the most part. But that's my go-to bass, the
That's
Sukop.
beautiful. Now, are
Thank you.
you into chords on the bass, or are you more single note kind of person?
Single notes. I mean,
Yeah.
occasionally I'll hit maybe two note chords, but
Right.
um,
Yeah. Now, so this is another theme we've been doing. It's hysterical. We call these the fireside chats. There's no fire anywhere, but that's what we've been calling them. But since we started doing these, we love to talk to artists, and whether you're doing originals or covers, you're an artist. Yeah. How has COVID affected you from an artistic point of view?
um, the positives and negatives. It hasn't all been negative. The negatives are the obvious that we've all been suffering from, which is loss of gigs. I mean, anyone that's in any entertainment hospitality business, I did lose. I'm in a Cars tribute called Best Friends Girl, and that we traveled and we did theaters and bigger venues, and those all got canceled. I mean,
Right.
all those gigs. But I played bars over the summer, so I did lose a lot of the better paying, higher end gigs. The positive though, and this is just my personality, so I can't speak for any other musician, but um, I got into doing these videos. I really that's sort of been my focus since COVID. Like I did a couple of them before COVID, but I really sort of honed in on doing them and got better sound and got this. Do I have it around here? This thing. Hold on. Can I let me show it to you. This doohickey. This is called an iRig. And this is I go, believe it or not, go direct into my phone. So
Really?
the videos that you see is just me going into my phone. So that's what COVID's done. I think I've gotten better as a bass player. I've gotten, yeah, I don't know. I've gotten into doing the videos, better sound. Yeah, and I don't think I would have done that if
Right.
it hadn't happened.
Yeah, and that's one of the themes that we've been hearing is that, depending upon one's outlook, and look, we all have different external challenges in our lives, and for a lot of folks who are financially distressed, they don't even have the emotional bandwidth to work on their craft. But if you're fortunate enough to be in a position where you have the bandwidth, you can exit this a better craftsperson or better artist than you entered it.
Yeah, I mean for me, but that's, yeah, I mean I think that's sort of my personality though too. Like when I just, if things are not going well, whatever, then I sort of find out a way to make them better and to do what I can do to improve my situation. So, um, yeah, I feel fortunate. I have space that I figured this out. I feel proud that I've even like this, like, it's like no one, I kind of took little bits and pieces. People told me get this, but then I didn't know what to do with it,
Right, right.
and then what app and how do I, so, and then adjusting levels and the best editing app. And I, I'm a little techie, but I never was into recording, never knew anything about recording or editing or setting levels or any of that. And I've taught myself. So I feel there's a sense of pride in, having done that over the past 9 months.
Well, I mean, the videos look really good and they sound really good. And
Thank you.
like your mix between the track you're playing along with and what you're doing is the right mix. I think
Thank
they
you.
sound great.
Thank you.
So what do you see? There it's December 10th of 2020 right now, and I'm looking at yep, I got it right on my calendar there. There's a couple of vaccines. There are rough times in front of us, but there's hope on the horizon. So what are, let's say before life gets normal, what are your next projects you want to work on? And then we'll follow up with, what do you see in your life once we're all with each other again?
Oh, I want to gig again. I did a lot of great gigs with great musicians. I want to play with my friends, and I want to play music with people that I enjoy being with and playing with. I want to continue to do these videos and work on songs. I have a couple songs on the horizon that I'm starting to work on. I think, I think that in the warmer weather, I think by the spring and the summer with the vaccine, I think we're going to get back to some level of normalcy. I don't know that I think it's going to be a while before people are comfortable
Yeah.
to be packed into anywhere, hundreds, thousands of people. I don't know when those arena type events are going to come back.
No, I think
Uh,
it's a
uh,
solid year.
think so.
That's just my uneducated guess on it. My feel for it is that if we have the first wave of vaccines, late December, early January, then the next wave, then the next wave, then people emotionally feeling comfortable with what the vaccines can do, hopefully. I'm just guesstimating. It feels like in about a year, life will be maybe 80% normal, something like
Okay.
that. I don't know.
Okay.
You know, I'm it's not. I'm not a medical professional. We actually just re-aired the show we did with Scott because Scott is a pharmacist by day and actually has expertise. He's a frontline worker.
Oh, wow.
So what was interesting is, we did a second. We taped his show at the very beginning of COVID because we thought, oh my God, our publicist is a professional in this exact area. So we did a very serious show, and everything that Scott said really was borne out. As we looked forward in terms of his views of these things. But somewhere on Guitar Tales on Facebook right now, actually, is a replay of Scott's show, and he had some really nice insights. I thought we had a good show, but
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So
Yeah, let's hope we get back to, to playing and, some sense of normalcy. I'll tell you what, if nothing else, what this taught me was to appreciate things more, to appreciate gigs, pre-COVID, you know,
yeah,
there was definitely gigs I did, same old songs that I played 1,000 times, and I don't want to play these songs again. And then I did a gig. The last gig I did was about a month ago. It was cold, maybe 3 weeks ago, doing the same old songs, but I had a blast. And I was like,
right,
wow, it gave me a little bit of a different
yeah,
perspective.
yeah. I got goosebumps. I saw this video that was going around. It might have been in Paris. It was the thousand musician version of what's the AC/DC song that we all love?
Shook Me? Was it Shook
No,
Me?
no, it's the
Oh, Back in Black?
no, before that, I think. It's
Uh,
Thunderstruck.
oh, okay. Yeah. I
Is
think I
it no,
saw.
Yeah. A thousand musicians playing at once in a crowded stadium.
Maybe
And
I didn't see it. I don't think I did
oh,
see
I'll
it.
send it to you. It's really cool, but it's even cooler now to watch it because you have everyone's jammed in together and they're happy and they're all, there must be like 200 guitar players, is probably 100 drummers. And it's cute, but the positive energy is just flowing through the stadium. I
Oh,
think
nice.
it might have been Thunderstruck. It might have been a different song, but it was AC/DC. I forgot which song. But yeah, we have each other's emails. I'll send it to you. It's really cool.
Okay, nice.
But
Nice.
as is always the case on Guitar Tales, the time has flown. We're probably about 35, 40 minutes in. It feels like 5 minutes.
It does.
But thank you so much for being our first ever bass player on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
Same here. And again, for people to find you, what's the best way for people to find you?
Helena Holmes Bass on YouTube. And Facebook, if you look up Helena Holmes, there's my profile picture is me playing bass. If you look up Helena Holmes Bass, though, you should be able to find me
Yeah, I
across.
found it was very easy to find you. Well, thank you again. And I'm going to
Yeah.
hit stop on the recording. But again, happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye bye.